It is the weekly visit during the college football season. Dr. Lou is joining us.
Dr. Lou, that's Dr. Lou, Dr. Lou. The doctor will see you now.
Dr. Lou.
Guys, I'm in the house this morning. Let me just tell you something. I just feel I'm so sexy for my shirts. So sexy for my sweatshirt. So sexy. Yeah, baby. It hurts.
I mean, you're looking great.
It hurts.
You're looking great.
That's right. I'm looking sexier and speedy this morning.
You know, I never knew Dr. Lou was so musical.
He's very
year.
musical.
I know.
Very musical.
I tell you what, you just never know what's come out. You're just a whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Come here, say whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Come here, say, come on, go, say whoop, there it is. I tell you what, it's been a crazy week, guys.
Hadn't it?
I tell you what, today we're going to take a little different route. I was going to come in and crack some jokes about some things, but you know what, it's completely inappropriate. Even Dr. Lou knows when the line is drawn. Yes. And we're not going to go down that road today. And guys, I just want to take the first few minutes of this segment doing we'll talk about the game from last week and
the game of the century, Lou.
The game of the century, guys. Last week in Tuscaloosa, Tuscaloosa was decided the most riveting, gut-wrenching World Cup soccer championship that I can remember. three kicks to 2 kicks. Oh, about half my script ain't gonna work today, so we got to go different. Well, yeah, we had overtime, yellow flags falling all over the place. It was everything that Pele, Mia Hamm, Hope Solo, and all the other soccer people had hoped for. There we go. Come on, bring that laughter hard today. We're going to need to bring it real hard.
Hope Solo.
Greg, that means open your mouth some.
That's right. Not to drink alcohol, though. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
That's it.
Whatever.
Okay. Game of century, the matchup of the millennium, and the biggest pile of hype since Y2K. Not to mention a kicking display as bad as the USA women in the World Cup final shootout versus Japan. I'm just trying to waste 30 seconds with my laugh.
A little more laugh.
Oh, guys, it was a struggle to keep the offenses on the field. It was a struggle to kick the ball between the uprights. It was a struggle to understand the play call, and it was a struggle for 4 billion TV spectators to stay awake. And let me tell you something.
What is that for?
For what?
The TV spectators. I skipped a syllable there. But guys, I can't tell you whether it was worth $1,000 a ticket, but I will say this. At least 100,000 fans in Bryant-Denny didn't have to endure 4.5 hours of Vern's Show Me the Biscuit Lundquist.
Oh.
Boy, guys, if there had been an official throwing flags for broadcasting fouls, Vern would have been pulled in the first quarter.
Yes, he would have.
Did you guys hear that call he made at the biggest play of the game, first quarter? He said, he's talking about that first. It's an interception. It's an interception. It wasn't an interception.
It's a completion.
That guy, tell you what, I think he was more focused on the biscuits in the press box. Guys, then there was overtime. And having to spend overtime with Vern is like eating one too many buffets. Time to call 911. Guys, Vern finally broke down. I don't know if you noticed this. Vern finally broke down as LSU neared the goal line in the final seconds and screamed, "Oh no!" And guys, I looked into this, and you know why he said this.
Why did he say, "Oh no"?
Yes, the game was over, the dream was over, but more importantly to Vern, the all-you-can-eat press box buffet was over.
Oh, that is painful.
I'm so glad he's fat, so I got material. Guys, it's I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the season with the outcome of the Oklahoma State the Oklahoma State team. You got the Boise State team. You got the Stanford Cardinal, and if all them trip up, which could very well happen, we might see a Tide Tiger redo game down in New Orleans. And I spoke with Vern. Just staying on Vern here. I spoke with Vern about his thoughts on possible rematch down in the Bayou, and he told me that he couldn't care less about a rematch, but he did mention that he is already licking his chops for some of that Cajun cuisine. That jokes ain't never get old. I bet Charlie Watts will be down there as well. But guys,
He loves Charlie Hume.
guys, as you can tell, I've had to eliminate some of my script today, and it was a good call. It was a very good call.
Yeah, I
I don't
think
want
so.
to make light of the situation. It's not been funny. So why don't we go ahead and just move on to the picks and save ourselves a lot of emails.
Well, now look, Dr. Lou roared back to the front on the picks this week. Bubba, I had a pretty rough weekend last weekend, and it looks like we all did. Dr. Lou, though, picked up some ground.
Dr. Lou does the tally, and he had a good week.
Yeah, it appears Dr. Lou always has a a week.
Actually, guys, these are honest to goodness records, and I'm up one, and we've got. Let's just talk about some of these. By the way, for all you out there who wanted to know, I'm 91-31. Rick is 90-32, so he's a game behind. Speedy's right behind that at 89-33, and then Bubba's right behind that at 87-35. So we haven't picked the most difficult games, obviously, if you look at our records, but we're all neck and neck coming down to the last. Guys, can you believe that next week is going to be my last week for the season?
That's hard to believe.
It can't be.
Isn't that crazy?
Lou, I can't be.
We're almost to the end of the season, and
We might have to sing Gobble Gobble together.
Gobble, gobble. That's a little preview for you, a little gobble, gobble. They're going to stay smirking at me. Gobble, gobble. I say, well, we can sing that all day. Guys, let's talk about some football games this week. We got number 2, Oklahoma State at Texas Tech. Now, I'll tell you what, Texas Tech has fallen off the radar these past couple weeks, but I'll say Tommy Tuberville is a great big game coach. So I'm thinking that Texas Tech actually may fulfill the dreams and the hopes of all the Alabama Crimson Tide faithful and may upset the Oklahoma State. I'm gonna go with it this week.
How is Oklahoma State dealing with the fact they're in the driver's seat? I mean, they are in charge of their own destiny. They've just got to get through this. And like I say, Tuberville is a master of the upset.
I know. I mean, but he's
had one this year.
I was about to say he's also the master of then getting beat by a team he should beat by 20 points.
Right.
Unfortunately,
and so really you can't pick him on like a regular week. You got to pick him on like a big upset week.
Right.
I think Oklahoma State has too much to lose. I'm staying with Oklahoma State.
Yeah, too much Cowboy.
too much T-Boone.
Too much T-Boone in the windmill.
Guys, why don't we just go ahead and skip down there to number 19, Nebraska. This is just. I tell you what, I hope Penn State gets absolutely killed this week in this game because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing and inexcusable what's going on at that university. I'm going to pull for the Nebraska Cornhuskers to win 600 zillion points. I've never pulled out a Z, but I'm going to pull it out today. 600 zillion points over the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Well, I mean, here's what you have to think. Is Penn State completely in disarray, or will this team somehow pull together and say, hey, we're all innocent in this, and we got to go out and still fulfill, regardless of what a coaching staff and administration may have done or are doing, we're playing for each other? I don't know. Nebraska comes in with they're not playing well right now. Penn State's playing well. That's a tough one. I don't know. That's a tough pick.
It's a tough pick. What you think about that, Bubba? You're not going to tell us so Rick doesn't.
I don't want Rick to copy me again
That's right.
and continue to get a slightly better record than me each week by one pick. So, no, I think Nebraska will win this. I've seen these programs when you have all this going on. There's no way these guys are focused. There's no way they're going to play loose. They're either going to be overhyped or distracted. I think you know, and you don't know. They may come out gangbusters, but I just think Nebraska will go in there and put the wood.
Yeah, I think Nebraska also in that game. And again, I just think that I don't know how you overcome everything that's going on there at Penn State this week. Texas at Missouri.
It's a paddling reference.
Of course, Missouri, the new SEC team.
That's going to be number 16. Number 16, Texas at Missouri. I'm going to say that Missouri beats them since they're going to be at home.
Wow, so it's an upset week for you.
Absolutely. I'm going upsets, and I'm going to increase my lead for this last week.
Wow.
How about that?
Either that or go fall behind.
Guys, let me just say something as well. I can't believe next week we're going to be talking about Iron Bowl stuff already. I mean,
know.
This state's going to get crazier than it already is. Roadside Bar, documentary, just I tell you what, we got some crazy people.
We'll come back. We'll look at some other games. Did you see the Roll Tide War Eagle thing, Coach?
Yeah, I actually caught bits and pieces of it. I haven't caught the whole thing yet, but I heard I was in it. Is that correct? I think I was in it.
I don't know.
I think
I was hoping
in it.
you saw it.
You were in it.
That's what I heard. I was in it. Well, we'll come back in just a second. I might even talk like an Asian leprechaun.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay close.
Rick and Bubba.
Talking with Dr. Lou today. His visit, and we're doing the picks for the week. We've talked to Oklahoma State at Texas Tech. We've talked Nebraska at Penn State. We've talked Texas at Missouri. And there's some pretty tough picks out here. I mean, when you start looking at like for instance Oregon at Stanford.
I'm calling the Ducks.
Yeah, Stanford's ranked. I missed that one. I always have errors on my my list there, but Stanford's number, I believe, 4. I think they're 4. So we got number 7 Oregon and number 4 Stanford. Honestly, guys, I think this may be the premier game of the week. I think there'll be a lot of scoring in this one, and I foresee Stanford and Luck. I see him throwing about 19 touchdowns. So I'm going to go
19.
I'm going to go with the Stanford Cardinal. They will win 619 to 612. That will be the final score of that game.
Well, Dr. Lou, Bubba, you like Oregon?
I'm going with the Ducks. They're going to upset this and begin what will be the setup of the rematch in the national title. Step number 1.
Right, well, that could happen. I'm going to stay with Stanford, but I think if you pick that, it would not be a surprise. Another tough one, number 20 Auburn and number 15 Georgia. I was in Georgia last night, had a great time over at North Metro Baptist Church there in Lawrenceville, and there was a lot of talk about this game and, of course, the Georgia Tech game last night over there. And the Georgia fans believe that they are finally on that roll they expected at the beginning of the season, and then, of course, they lose 2 quick ones. But since then, they've been playing the way they think they should have been playing the whole season.
Guys, I think you got a situation here where Mark Richt is essentially. I think he's playing for his job. I still think he is, even though they've racked up some wins. I think he's playing for his job because the Georgia fans are tired. They're sick and tired of having 8-win seasons and 9-win seasons and even 10-win seasons, but never getting to the big game. So I think this is a key game for Coach Mark Richt, and I'm gonna say they show up to play and have a great game, but not so fast, my friend. I'm gonna say the Auburn Tigers end up winning this one. Probably it's gonna be a high scoring match. I think probably a 34-31 game. The Auburn Tigers come out on top.
Well, you've mentioned what Georgia's playing for. Auburn's playing to try to get into the best bowl game that they can. You get better bowl games with what should be an 8-win season if they win this. With playing Samford next week, the Alabama game, of course, obviously they'll be huge underdogs in that, and rightfully so. So this is a big game for Auburn too if they want to go to that next level bowl game with an 8-win season versus a potential 7-win season. So I'm going to pick Auburn just because my son's on the team, and I think they have a lot to play for. Georgia does have a lot to play for, but with 2 losses, they have no hope of getting to the national championship. All they're really and you do realize that if South Carolina loses, they can lose the Auburn game and still win the East.
Yeah, they're going on that side, I think. I'm going to wait to the last minute to circle that one. The visiting team has an overwhelmingly winning record in this rivalry, which is kind of odd, especially in the Southeastern Conference. And you just don't know. I mean, Auburn still, you kind of feel like they're still trying to decide who's going to be quarterback in some ways. So I don't know. That's going to be a toss-up.
It is, and both teams are Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know which Georgia team's going to play. You don't know which Auburn team's going to play.
I'm going to come back and I'll pick that one last minute. Yeah. I got to think about it.
Well, I got in trouble the last time I picked against Auburn, and my son got upset. So I'm stuck with picking Auburn no matter what. Yeah. I told him I was trying to fire him up, make him mad.
Yeah.
He didn't buy that.
How about Alabama, Mississippi State? On paper, Alabama ought to be a huge favorite. They will be, but they're coming off very emotional loss, and those are trap games, and Mississippi State trying to find their place. It would make their season to beat Alabama. do they have enough to get it done? Rick, I go to you.
I gotta hear what Speedy says on the.
Well, he's like I am with Auburn. He has to pick State, even if it seems like it's insane.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's that's one. Hey, you watch Alabama play, and you just like, good gracious alive. They're so good.
Makes you want to smoke a cigarette.
It does. It does.
Oh my God!
But like Rick said, I mean, I'm pulling for State, and just in all hopes that something happens. But the likelihood of it happening is very slim. But hey, you got to win it on the field, so you just never know.
That's how I am.
So you're just picking it as a cowbell person without it.
Yeah. I mean, just because it'd be hard to watch the game otherwise. And my biggest things, I wanted the SEC to win the national championship. Somebody's got to win the national championship, and for Alabama to have a chance to do that again, of course, they need to win out in hopes that a rematch takes.
Well, these games against these kind of teams go one or two ways. When they've had an emotional game like last week, you catch them. Or the fact that they got beat, they now totally annihilate their next opponent.
They come back and they're real mad.
Right.
Yeah,
well, I'll tell you, one thing you need to keep in mind here is Alabama, the entire season has not played very well during the first half. And if you combine that with a hangover this week, you just never know. I've seen crazier things happen. So
tell me you're going to pick Mississippi State?
I'm going to pick Mississippi State to get killed by about 4 million points.
Hey,
here's the problem.
State's had a lot of bad luck.
Well, Mississippi State.
They're about to have some more.
Well, yeah, I think so. Will they score a point in this game? I think that's the question.
I think they'll have a very hard time scoring.
Yeah, it might be a field goal, but yeah.
Yeah.
They had a lot of bad luck. Lost to Georgia 14-12. Had that last play against Auburn. They didn't win that one. Was tied 6-6 with LSU at halftime. Lost 19-6. They've had a tough.
I predict you'll hear this around the Wilburn household. Hey, JC, bring me my lighter and my 6-pack.
Hey,
by the end of
that's
game.
Greg.
I believe Mississippi State has a great defense. I don't think they have a good offense. Yeah. And a bad offense against a great defense is not a good combination. I don't think it will be a very high scoring affair. But I just don't see how Mississippi State.
So you're saying at halftime, I'm probably going to flip to Oregon Stanford?
No, I think at halftime you have hope at halftime.
It might be close. I think in the fourth quarter, Alabama may throw 2 or 3 touchdowns on the pile just to.
But the problem is I don't see how Mississippi State's offense can go against that defense. Mississippi State's offense has looked bad against good defenses. This is a great defense.
Yeah. Hey, could I ask you about a game that's not on here? Do you think TCU will destroy Boise State's season?
I do not.
You think
TCU's not that good this year?
I think they're pretty good.
At Boise?
What do you think, 2 losses?
Well, I just had
not like last year, though.
I just had a dream, a vision.
And Boise's better than they were last year.
I just had a dream, and it turns out that there was an Asian leprechaun.
Oh my God!
And he came out and he told me what's going to happen in this game.
What's going to happen?
He said, Boise is going to open up a can of fly on their high knees.
That's what the Asian leprechaun said?
You can expect a lot of dookie egg rolls to be thrown in the face of the TCU Horned Frogs. And I'm completely improving right now. I do not even know where this is going.
Well, what show would have a guy who does an impression of Lou Holtz, and that's not enough? He's got to do Lou Holtz doing an Asian person.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've ever had anything to base it off of.
Asian leprechaun.
Lou, thanks for being with us, buddy. Always a pleasure.
Guys, I always enjoyed being on this segment. I return next week.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.